Nightmares Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is our last show of 2019.
How many shows did we even have? Did we manage to do every month this year?
We did, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember things.
You don't have like a notebook you're writing all this stuff down?
I do not. I live in the moment, by which I mean I forget everything the minute it happens, and I do not project into the future.
Goldfish memories.
I don't
the
know
way to
who
live.
you are.
Hey.
Yeah.
In 2020, we're all new, brand fucking new.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world out there.
It's rebirth, you guys.
Yeah.
Birth.
The Nightmare Show came to life, and we just live in it now.
Exactly.
It's good. It's great. Love it.
So let me tell you guys a little bit about how this is going to go. Kat and I are going to chit-chat for a little while. Then we're going to bring up our guests one by one. We're going to talk to them about terrible nightmares that they've had, because this is a comedy show. Then I'm going to awkwardly pull this screen down and show them a drawing I made based on their nightmares. And then I'm going to give them the drawing I made, and they can keep it or they can ritually burn it. Yeah.
We don't have a ratio on what people are choosing.
No, I would suggest that if you're going to ritually burn it, maybe wait till you get home. I'm not entirely sure what the fire code situation is, but...
You know what? It would just hype this place's profile.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then there was a ritual burn it. Yes, that's what the bathtub is for. You can burn it in the bathtub.
Throw it in the tub.
If we can make that happen tonight, I really feel like that would be a good way to go out.
Or if I could just surreptitiously slide down a piece of baked potato foil, you could just do it there,
Right. I like where you're going with that.
Right? Look, I just like safety.
Yeah.
We could get a pyro guy ahead of time. I shouldn't be spilling the beans like
right.
this. Spoiler
Is
alert.
anybody here a pyro guy?
A pyro guy can mean a lot of things.
No pyro guy. Of all 17 people here, there's no pyro guy.
In New York City?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Fantastic.
4 liars. That's what we have here. It's terrible. It's very dark this week. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Fuck it. Yeah. I got a cat today.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background. I had a cat until March, and that's when that cat died. And my daughter was very sad because the cat actually predated my daughter. The cat was the first child. The daughter was the second child. And so she was very sad about it. But I was done with having cats because that old cat spiraled. Her death spiral was a year and a half. And she just got progressively sicker, but also just progressively shittier. By the end, she was just a real fucking liability, if you want to know the truth. So I had her murdered in March. And my daughter has been very sad. She's just always I miss Penny so much. I just really miss having a cat. But she has a lot of feelings all the time, so I've more or less been dismissing this. And I got her a hamster as a consolation pet, and it sucks. I don't like that animal at all. It's also got a very complicated cage, which I was this will teach her responsibility. She can clean it. And then I'm looking, I'm there's no way she can clean this. It's super, there's a lot happening in this cage, and now all of it is covered in hamster shit. So I now have a new chore. She never uses the hamster. It's just there in the cage, looking kill me. So after, she's kind of been slowly wearing me down. I have not been a hard no on a cat. I'm just I just need a break. My husband has been a hard no on a cat, since Penny died. He's so we're never getting a cat again, right? I'm oh, never again. But so Tug's been working on me and, begging my husband for a cat. And finally, by the time I made the decision that we were getting a new cat, I was listen, this is what you got to do with Daddy. Stop asking him every 5 seconds. What you do is you go up to him and you put your little hand on his shoulder and you say, Daddy, I know you don't want a cat, and it's okay. I just want you to know that it's breaking my heart. And then you walk the fuck away and you don't mention it again. Because appearing to submit is the best way to win. So, yeah, I feel I taught my daughter, the first step to emotional manipulation. Yeah.
I mean, you nailed it.
Yeah, it worked! It totally worked!
Well, we call it the rankle. It's a thing
Yeah.
I think that you can do to a dad.
Yeah.
We used wrapping the kitten up in a blue blanket, echoing when he brought home his childhood puppy.
Oh,
we need this animal, Dad. Say no to it.
Yeah,
the memory
next
of
level.
Bandit is gone. Yeah.
Do you guys want to see a picture of this cat?
Oh, let me see.
Normally, I wouldn't be like, look at the picture of the new thing, but it's brand new today, so I'm like excited about it for this week and this week only. Let's see. So, this is his school picture. He was going to go for the laser background, but yeah. So there's a breeder out on Long Island. And they are shutting down their cattery. It's called a cattery. This is the thing I learned. He is a recently retired stud cat. I got him for $50, you guys. That's like pennies on the dollar for a purebred ragdoll cat. He is such a fat fuck, you guys. He weighs 23 pounds. He is all the cat. He is a big chunk of fudge. So, yeah, he came with the name Oliver, which, his new name is Gizmo. And now we know that.
He sounds like the Jack Nicholson of cats.
I think he seriously... Oh, maybe I need to rename him the Jack Nicholson of cats.
Scored forever and then got fat as hell.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
And still looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was expecting some fluffy kitten, and instead...
No.
You got somebody
like,
sent to pasture.
No, an sex was his job cat. They divested him of the tools of his trade.
He was a sex worker, and we need to respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A retired sex worker. No.
I don't know. We'd have to ask his willingness, but I assume it was high. He was a tomcat. So.
Yeah. I don't think you can I don't think there's any such thing as non-consensual. Consensual? If that's not a word, it should be.
Yeah.
Non-consensual sex to a tomcat. I think I think they engage in non-consensual sex in that I don't think the lady cats like it ever.
Yeah, if you got a barbed
penis,
it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
It's a hard sell.
There's so much screaming going on. There were some cats fucking in the breezeway, behind our breezeway, air shaft, in our old apartment, and it sounded like goblins screaming.
Yeah.
It was very upsetting.
Well, I remember when I got stuck with somebody else's cat, just watch it for the summer forever. And she went through heat because they hadn't spayed her, so we had to take her in, but the appointment was free, so it was a long time from now, so we had to wait through her first period, and she just sat around the apartment yowling like she needed it so bad.
That
you
tracks.
could tell even in
I
cat
get
language.
Yeah.
I had a cat once who broke its leg and then touched the floor with it and yowled in a way that was oh, that's a cat swear word. Right. So this was the cat oh, I'm horny. It was weird. It was really messed up.
Yeah.
And she just did it for 2 straight days. And I was like, this is why it's really great that I've never had any bad college roommates.
Right.
Because that is a human that you can accidentally pick up on Craigslist.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But in this case, it was medical.
Looking for barbed dick.
But people kept advising that we stick a Q-tip in the cat.
No!
You can hit the off button she's Buzz Lightyear. You just switch her to Spanish mode, or I guess away from Spanish mode, depending on what your stereotype level is. And all right, I'll get us sued. I'm very sorry, everyone from even near Spain. So in any case, I refused to fuck my cat with a Q-tip, so I had to listen to it for longer.
You're such a bad cat mom.
I didn't know what to do with it. I don't want to ever have to tell that story. I mean, I'm telling around that story clearly, which is also terrible.
No, beyond telling the story, you have to live with that in your brain for the rest of your life.
I bet when you thought you were bringing in a picture of a kitten, we would be lighter.
I didn't know we were going into Q-tip sex with. Yeah.
I'm sorry. My thing was how many people brought it up independently who didn't know each other. It was what? How is this the great American secret? If your cat goes into heat, you just fuck it with a Q-tip.
Right.
Where are you picking this up?
Does it have to be a Q-tip or can it be a Walgreens cotton swab? Are they brand conscious?
You know what? I didn't get that far into it because I just shut it down right away.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we're good. I think I'm just going to listen to yowling for a couple of days.
I'm not even going to be brushing this thing's teeth. I'm definitely not sticking a Q-tip into
I did brush your teeth.
Orifice.
I am that much of a cat lady.
Wow.
Is that I will occasionally, if you get weird tuna breath, get in there with the little rubber finger brush.
Right.
And they make chicken-flavored cat toothpaste. I swear that's a thing. But you don't do it every night. It's not like a kid where it's time to brush your teeth, Oliver.
Right.
That would be messed up. But,
that's great because that would be every night. Brush your fucking teeth! It is half an hour past your bedtime. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I imagine that just like a kid, I just have to play a Ghostbusters video for her on my phone near the mirror.
Right.
and she'll do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't work on cats.
I don't know.
Just a video of a fish. Here, stand here.
They're more. I don't know. I was gonna make a joke about movies cats like. Good night.
The movie, the segment has been sponsored by the movie Cats, which is coming out and is going to be just as terrible as this segment. I'm so sorry.
Should we end this charade and bring up our first
Yeah,
guest?
let's do it with the person.
All right, yeah.
Wait, that's all right. I should be fired from the show.
That's going to be on a T-shirt. All right, our first guest is a writer and a performer. She has a show coming up in spring at Joe's Pub called Your Mom. She is a feminazi cunt, and she is a wonderful human being. Please welcome to the stage, Amanda Duarte.
Give you all the money shot right up front.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I want chicken flavored toothpaste.
Do you though?
You want to go savory with it?
Yes,
I bet Tom's
why
Maine
don't
has been
we have
we're
like
ready.
a savory toothpaste? You know.
But would it be mint and chicken or just mint?
Why does it need to be minty? You know why? Who decided that? Who decided that like our mouths are supposed to like smell and taste like mint all the time?
I think just the nature of mint decided that.
Why not just like cherry or I don't know, like chicken pot pie?
Listen,
like just something you could walk around just like tasting something delicious all the time. Pizza.
Have you ever brushed your teeth with children's toothpaste?
I mean, not recently.
Uh-huh.
But they make.
It'd probably be weird if I did because I don't have kids. But
Yeah,
come
but
over
if you want cherry or bubble gum,
oh, they have that
shit,
shit, right? See, when I was a kid,
it's
they didn't.
gross, so it's so gross. It's not refreshing.
I mean, well, you know, who decided we need to? I'm just kidding. Like, I think when I was a kid, they didn't have that stuff.
No.
Like it would have been a dream.
Yeah,
these kids these days, am I right?
If you
They don't know how good they have it.
If you wanted cool toothpaste when we were kids, if I remember right, it was that triple color.
Oh,
yeah.
AIM,
Colgate.
yeah. Or like
AIM.
Aquafresh.
Yeah.
AIM, I think, was the poor man's Aquafresh. So I think that's what
None
we
of that
had.
shit from my mom. She was like, "You're getting 99-cent Crest, and you're gonna fucking
No
like
shit.
it."
My mom's like, there's a thing of baking soda and like a
Yeah.
toilet brush.
I got in trouble for trying to make a swirl on the toothbrush, like in the
Oh,
commercials.
yes.
Yeah,
It's a huge
like,
waste
why
of
are you
toothpaste.
wasting toothpaste? Yeah.
Remember that? Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I used to do? Like in this sort of same vein is, do you guys remember that commercial, that Snickers commercial where there's like someone had a handful of peanuts and they closed their hand and they opened it again and there was a Snickers bar in it?
Yes.
Like, listen, when I was a kid, like I believed in shit. I still believed in things, you know. And I would sit there with like peanuts and just like, ah! Like trying to, I just squeeze this hard enough. Because Snickers bars were like the holy fucking grail,
Yes.
right?
100%.
Like they were. You wanted one. Like if I got a Snickers bar under the Christmas tree and nothing else, I was fucking thrilled.
Yeah,
Put it in
that-
the freezer for like
Yeah.
a few hours, and then that was just.
I feel like that hasn't changed,
yeah.
right? Did the Snickers
Well,
ever fall out of favor?
I disagree because I believe that Snickers bars themselves have changed significantly.
I think
Oh,
all
no,
the candies have
all the-
changed.
all
Yes,
the things.
they've
Yeah.
all changed.
They've
It's
all-
like, you know, they've started sourcing the chocolate from different
Yeah.
cheaper places. They've started, like, I mean, don't get me started on, like,
turns
you know,
out-
food politics. But, like,
It turns out food slavery ruins the candy.
yeah. It's a bummer how slavery ruins candy.
Makes it really acrid. Not
Yeah.
my
You
thing
can
anymore.
taste. You can taste the child slavery. You're like, oh, this is Charleston shoes.
You really like to get risky.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I name
Interesting.
brands.
That's why
I
she's
cause
in
a
the
lot
middle.
of trouble.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like in order to get that risky, you have to still have a passion for things, I guess. You still have to care about shit, and I guess I just don't.
Yeah.
Fair.
Merry
to
Christmas,
not
everybody. Happy holidays.
caring
Happy New Year.
about
Hope you
shit.
have a happy
Hey,
2020.
fuck, it's the theme of the show.
Yeah,
Right.
yay!
Nightmares. Okay,
Right.
so let's
do
we
Yeah.
should do that because there are other people that
Wait, I
want
want to take a second and talk about Snickers in the freezer, though.
Yes.
Because
anytime.
my grandmother, who died, fairly like 69, so not super old, but not super young either. But like, she was diabetic, and very overweight, and she smoked like a chimney and ate Snickers out of the freezer and was living her best life
Bless
every
her.
day.
Hashtag so blessed.
Yeah,
Like, bless
so-
her.
Absolutely.
That's how I want to go, man.
No, she had a lot of flowered house coats.
She had a what?
A lot of flowered house
Oh,
coats.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is 100% my old lady goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just hashtag caftan, hashtag lanai.
Yeah.
Like that is how I want to go.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't need those extra 20 years anyway.
No, I mean, what are you going to do? That's when you end
Not
up.
eat Snickers?
Well,
Fuck
and like,
that.
you know, like I said, I don't have kids, so like, where am I going to end up? You know, like, no one's going to put me in a home.
I'm just starting to see the paperwork. Like the paperwork for being old is unbelievable.
That's the worst part, isn't it? Gotta hate paperwork.
I wasn't checking my watch.
And like at that age, they start just giving you like chicken flavored toothpaste, and you don't want it. Like,
you're like,
they're actually just all you can afford is cat toothpaste.
It's just for your sad gums.
Just for your gums. Yeah. Okay. So should we talk
it's
about
only one. You're down to one aisle at the supermarket, so that's fun.
Oh.
All right.
Everything dies. Tell me about your nightmare.
Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit like formless and shapeless, and it's because this is a recurring dream that I have had for many years, and it's what makes it nightmarish is number one, the fact that it recurs, and number two, the fact that I can't figure it out. I can't analyze it, and I'm hoping you guys can help me with this. Yeah. So, because I pride myself on being really intuitive, and like other people tell me their dreams, and it seems like no one ever can really analyze their own dreams because they're so caught up in it, and I laugh at them for that, and then I do this. I'm the same way. So I don't have the perspective or distance on this, I don't think. So backstory, I lived in San Francisco for many years, back when it was San Francisco. And I lived in this really shitty apartment in the Mission, which now probably costs, in fact, I think I know that it costs like $5,000 a month. At the time, it cost $750 a month, and I paid $200 a month to live in it, and I had trouble making that rent. So it was so porous and cold, and we had no heat. And I mean, it was not like this was a lovely place that I want to think about a lot. But it was the first apartment that I lived in with my ex, and that something must have, so it means something. So I have this recurring dream where I'm squatting, like I've returned to San Francisco and I'm squatting in this apartment. And for some reason the apartment has been unoccupied for the last 20 years. And like the landlord just hasn't come back and done anything with it. And like we still have the keys. So I go in and I'm squatting and kind of hiding from the landlord. Now, sometimes there are people living there and they're cool and they let me hang out with them. Sometimes the focus of the dream is that I don't know if that the apartment has been renovated. And it's like sometimes there's a hot tub in the back, sometimes there's like this big yard that we didn't have. And so anyway, every time though in the dream, and this is the part that I think has probably some really significant meaning that I cannot diagnose. Every time there is a cage of birds, because I had birds when I lived there. I had parakeets and I had a parrot who died in a traumatic pet sitting accident that I cannot discuss.
Oh, well, I feel like now you have to discuss it.
Okay, so the bitch who lived downstairs. No, there was this like total, like, this was the 90s and this fucking like raver bitch lived downstairs, and like we gave her the key to come up and feed my bird for like a week while I was in LA. And this was like the week of 9/11 also. And so let's just take a minute.
to not forget.
Don't forget. Yeah. You could never forget while I'm talking. Right. So I gave her the key, and she like fucked off and it was her birthday, and she fucked off and did drugs, and like probably went to Burning Man even though it wasn't happening, or whatever. Like she was just like, and my bird died, and she said, I'm sorry, but the key didn't work. Like, the key didn't work in the door. And I was like, well, number one, you could have told us that, like, the first day. I would have FedExed you a fucking key to my apartment to save my sweet bird, Pepe, who used to say his own name as he waddled down the hall. Aww. He was a little green guy, like, Pepe.
I shouldn't have made you tell this story.
No, but now we're in it. Okay, so I never, she gave me the fucking key back, and I was like, I don't want to know if this key really didn't work. I don't want to know. I still have to live upstairs from this woman. I don't want to know, so I threw it in the trash. Like I just I never wanted to know if that key worked. So that bird died, and I had parakeets in a big cage. But anyway, in the dreams, every time, like I go back to that apartment after all these years, whatever, and there's still a cage of birds in the apartment. And they're usually, and there's just tons of them because they've been breeding. And there are some that have died, and most of them are like very close to dying, but they just need to be fed. And I say to myself, oh my God, these birds, like I forgot I had these birds. Like that's what I always think. It's like I forgot, oh my God, and they're still alive. Like I forgot I had these birds. So for years I would have this dream, and I thought that the birds represented like my creative life, like how much energy and passion I was putting in my creative life, like that was what the birds represented. Now in retrospect, not retrospect because I still have this fucking dream all the time, but like in retrospect of my life, I think, well, I don't know, we can talk about it. I think that it has more to do with my marriage, my relationship, and parts of myself that I was not taking care of and that I was letting die.
Right. Or it might just be about the bird.
Look at my body language right now. I'm just like, I could not. I'm sorry, I'm fighting.
I'm sorry, you can't squirm away from
I'm
the
sorry,
truth.
it's extremely rude. I'm like going as fetal as a human being, like as an adult possibly can.
That is a popular stance on the show.
Yeah.
I bet. I mean, this touches a very, like, you know.
We all end
But
up here
I think it
eventually.
was key that you told that story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so about the parakeet, the
Yeah.
parrot.
And I think that it's easy to put like a lesson, like society says, oh, you can't consider this that important, but it sounds like that bird was very important to you.
That bird was very important to
And
me.
like to have to leave him behind, you feel like you wish he was still alive, and the only way that works if you're gonna get him now is for you to show back up and find like basically his descendants have somehow stuck around.
Like he was a stud bird.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Yeah.
he continued the stud bird tradition, and you came out with some part of him. Like that sounds like key. And you're right. Obviously, you're in like a very specific, weird, fucked up place you don't necessarily want to be at that time, and you wanna get out of it. Like that's. Your bird died in 9/11. By all
Right,
intents
yeah.
and
My bird died
purposes.
in 9/11. Where's the money? I didn't get the money. Where do I sign up for the money?
That's tragic.
Well, and I feel like it's a fairly common dream to. I have often had the dream where I have like a kitten or a hamster that I have
That you've murdered.
that I've murdered, that I put like underneath my desk or something like that, and then I forget that I have it, and I'm like, oh shit, and it's completely like it's a dried husk of a hand. Has anyone else had this dream?
Is
where
this
you
common? Is this like an
Yeah.
archetypal
I've seen
dream?
a
Like,
couple
am I the
Yes.
Fisher King? Like, why does this? Is this like? Is this common?
I
you know what I
think
mean?
it's
Like,
like-
is this
and it's-
some like Freudian template?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like, neglectful of something, living and precious.
Yeah, and beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so it kind
colorful.
of tracks that yours would be a parrot. That's just my gesture
Yeah.
for your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That is actually American Sign Language
You're
for my
right.
hair.
Yeah, not anybody else's hair, just
Mine,
Amanda
yeah.
Duarte's. Yeah. And as a sidebar, have you seen what happens to a parrot if they pluck their feathers out? Because there's some like rescue parrots at Sean Casey, and they look like little dinosaurs. It's very
Do
upsetting.
you know why they do that? Because parrots are as intelligent as like children, like 3 to 5 year old children. They're incredibly intelligent. They're
So that's
incredibly
not
sensitive.
that high a bar.
Well, listen, look, I'm dating straight men in New York City. The bar is like, let's talk about where the bar is, right?
And also for a fucking bird. Impressive.
Look, it's
Yeah.
pretty impressive for a fucking bird. But like emotionally, they're incredibly like emotional animals, and they get very, very attached to like the person that they are first,
Right.
paired with. And so many parrots, they live for so long that like, their first owner will die or will give them away or something, and most birds never recover from that. And so it's a stress response, and they pull out their own feathers, and once that starts happening, this is really fucked up. This is like some
Once
My
again,
Strange Addiction
this is a
shit.
comedy show.
This is like, I know, My Strange Addiction, Avian Edition. But they'll pull out their feathers, and they chew on the root, and there's like a substance inside that part of the feather that's addictive.
What? What?
Yeah. So they get addicted to like this stress response thing, and they'll just pluck themselves naked.
This is the second upsetting animal fact I have learned in the past.
I got
20
tons
minutes.
of them if you want to just hang
my
out.
God.
We don't spend enough time together.
We really don't.
You know,
Yeah.
just come over.
Yeah, and
I got a
learn
Christmas tree. It's super
sad
cute.
shit about
We'll
animals.
just talk about animals.
Yeah. Do you want to see your art?
No!
That's the only time we've gotten that, and we should have been expecting it the whole time.
Yeah, we're out of time, so thank you so much.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have to awkwardly pull down the screen? Do I need to move?
awkwardly pull down the
get to
screen,
move?
and
Okay.
yeah, I now feel kind of bad about
Oh,
this. But
no.
let's
Why did you somehow blame me?
It's all your fault.
It really is, though.
Okay. So the bird is
Polly
saying
just wants
Polly
water.
just wants water.
I look great. Emily.
That is kind of the takeaway there. Is
I
that
was
you
thinking
look-
when you were like, "Oh, and I'll draw your nightmare." I was like, you know what? I want a portrait. You know, so like I should tell Emily I had this nightmare where I just looked fabulous. I was on a fainting couch wearing like, you know, an egret feather smoking jacket. I look great. No, but look at a jumpsuit. Heels in the house.
You're a fancy lady.
I'm a fancy lady in my nightmares. Oh, this
yeah.
is wonderful. Polly just wants water.
Yeah, that bird is so sad.
Oh my God.
Listen, I seriously think maybe you should burn this one. If you want to go to the
way.
burning chamber, it's in the back.
I would never burn an Emily Flake original ever, especially where I look that good.
You're a nice lady.
I'm neither of those things, but thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you to death. Thank you. Or it's in like an envelope.
I know, it's in an envelope.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, yeah, let's awkwardly put this back up again.
Was there a stand for no?
No, come on. Why would there be? All right, and well, hopefully our next guest will also have a disturbing animal fact, and we can keep this going. Our next guest is a novelist, essayist. Her most recent book is "Sick: A Life of Lyme, Love, Illness, and Addiction." Please welcome to the stage, Porochista Khakpour. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Thank you. Good.
Do you have any fucked up animal facts?
God, that was actually that was really disturbing. I don't, and my dream doesn't have any. But I'm like an animal person. I'm like one of those dog ladies.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about my dog right now, actually, and I was like, did I feed him right? You know.
What kind
But
of dog?
yeah, a poodle, a standard. I'm not a poodle person. It feels embarrassing to say I have a poodle. It's like not
Is
part
it
of my image.
Is
but-
it? Do you have its hair in a puppy cut or in like?
No. He's okay. This is weird because it's like a gender comment, and I don't want to do that right tonight. But like, he's very like male. So I never did that with him. He just is like shaved down. He looks amazing, but he just had like a cut, and people are like, oh, he like looks a little tragic to them, but he just looks like a. I don't know. He looks like a little bit like a whippet. They look like whippets.
Yeah, they're
actually.
they're,
when
they're
they're
very
yeah.
skinny dogs.
They're very skinny.
Not to body shame your dog.
No, I know.
Yeah.
There's all that stuff now. Yeah.
Oh,
he looks
man.
great. He's very handsome.
They're so soft. We very briefly had a poodle. We were not good with pets, but we had a poodle for a small amount of time, and it was very soft before we didn't have
but
it
they're
anymore.
actually they're like people. They're kind of fucked up dogs to have. I mean, I had greyhounds for years. I worked with Greyhound Rescue, but like this is like a person. It's like a relationship, and like it's crazy. Like it's a lot. I can't.
Yeah.
I almost like hate him in a way,
Yeah.
which is a horrible thing to say. But it's like we have fights. It's nuts. It's not. Yeah.
Is it like over
Who
the
wins?
remote?
Yeah.
Animal Planet again?
Yeah, it's I think it looks creepy to like my neighbors. I don't know. It's weird.
Is he a cold arguer?
He's like a very handsome, like Frank Sinatra, like very arrogant, like he's like a, fancy bro, and I just I don't love that in my life, but like here it is, so I don't know. He's
Poodles
good.
you can get if you're allergic because they have hair, not fur.
Yes.
Right.
That's why I had, like that book, which, my Lyme book, I was very ill for many years, so that's why I got him, because I was, like, allergic to the world.
Right.
So then I got a poodle.
Yeah.
I
now
didn't
you're
really
just
want a
allergic to
poodle.
his personality.
Yeah, I
not
am
his actual body.
actually allergic to his personality.
Yeah.
I hate his personality. Yeah. Sorry, that's
No,
awful. That we're all saying horrible things.
I
Okay.
rejoiced in the death of my earlier cat, like 20
Yeah.
minutes ago. So I think we're good here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
no.
I thought about how I'm going to cat lady hell for laughing so hard at that.
I did too.
It's terrible. My cat Henny, hold strong, buddy. Henny Ugman, super cat. Keep it up. You're on Instagram, or at least you were until I had a baby. and I barely had time for Instagram, and I used it to post That's Right pictures of the baby.
Right.
So every so often I would post a sad-looking picture of the cat being like, I used to be on here. You know, it was always like...
The hamster was the worst, though, because I had guinea pigs as a kid because my parents, like, didn't want a dog, but, like, I hated those guinea pigs. I was plotting their murder all the time. They're fucking gross.
They are
like,
fucking gross.
Like, they like eat their babies. Like, I don't know, what is that? Placenta?
Yeah.
That was the bad side of hamsters as well. I treated myself to a hamster as a teenager, and I had done well with an iguana. So you think a hamster would be no problem?
Right. Yeah, no.
The iguana was kicking it well into my 30s. Keeping a hamster with it does seem a little dangerous, but they don't eat like that. They like salad. So, so I had this hamster. She definitely, she did that thing where it's like she had babies, and then 6 hours later it was like, oh, she had lunch.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch. You're like a kid, and like.
And I had named her after my grandma, so I was like, oh goddamn,
really.
Doris went full Medea. That's dark.
My nephew, who is 20, has become a ferret guy.
Ooh,
which is just so.
I was tempted to become ferret people. They're very appealing little cat snakes. That's amazing.
Oh God!
You know? They're the worst, though. I feel like.
Clearly they're the worst. If you spend 6 hours with a ferret, you're like, you smell like pee. And you gotta go.
They convince you to get puppet shell necklaces.
No,
I hate those. You know those little like chip shell necklaces. That is,
you have to get a puka shell necklace to have a ferret.
Yes. No, the ferret.
Yeah,
talks
that
you
would be
into
a deal breaker for me.
And then it tells you that
I can't wear
fish is a good
chokers. I have
band.
barely any neck as it is.
Yeah.
I just like dogs and horses. I like the apples and oranges of animals. Like I don't like exotic. No, those are too exotic for me.
Horses are not exactly a house pet.
Well, they're not a house pet, but they're normal. Like we've all seen horses, we can understand them. Like I guess cats, fine.
Yeah.
Like, but I just don't want it to get baroque. I don't need ferrets or
I rescind my earlier
wait a
comment,
second.
though.
Don't horses qualify as baroque?
Horses,
they're literally around. Whenever baroque shit's happening, there's always like a horse like getting ridden.
Right.
All right. I don't know.
It's just baroque times.
Right.
People got a big skirt and they need a ride. Cars ain't invented yet.
I'm a city person. I don't know about horses. I've never met horse people.
But you guys have cops on horses. That always amazed me as a kid. I lived in a rural town where the cop had a Trans Am. You didn't so when I see horses, I'm always like, ooh, that's fancy as hell. So I think this is just revealing myself as lightly white trash. But it's good times. I love everybody clammed up. Boy, white people are finally getting. Everyone's so woke that even white people, they're like, I feel bad for you. This is terrible.
I do feel the need to point out that there are horses you can keep in your home because there are
what now?
There are tiny miniature ponies that they've bred to be companion animals for people who can't tolerate dogs.
Yeah,
but they're unpleasantly tiny, and their little hooves never get hard like real hooves, so they have to wear little sneakers.
Yeah, yes. Well, didn't JetBlue had someone brought their therapy animal, which was a miniature horse? Because I bring my dog all the time, and every time the JetBlue people are like, "Oh, there's a horse once on this plane, like not on this plane, but on JetBlue planes." And I'm like, "Okay, well, it's just horrible. That's crazy. That's not your therapy animal."
I mean,
therapy is watching everyone go, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's just
I can't bring a carry-on bigger than a peanut, and you took away my water, and this guy brought a fucking horse?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I'm an immigrant, and I think I love America. But
you know what? That's funny, because if I can think of a Balky kind of guy doing it, then it's cute again.
That's crazy, because Balky went to my high school.
No shit, really?
Crazy. Balky and Urkel. I went to the ultimate nerd high school.
Wow.
Balky and Urkel, which is just
were they buddies?
No, they were very separated in age. So
Oh,
Balky was before my time, and Urkel was when I was there.
Right.
And he was in detention with me, but it was so funny because I'd see him all the time, and I was like, he was famous Jaleel White, right? But he had starched, very ironed, oversized t-shirts. So he couldn't even be cool in real life. And I was constantly chewing my gum at him. I was like, "You're lame, dude." And I was he was a millionaire.
Man,
crazy.
I am being 100% honest when I say that I saw a GIF or GIF, whatever the fuck.
It's a GIF
of Jaleel White as Urkel today, and thought about, yeah. That kid was being so kind, making everybody laugh, and then I'm sure he got shit all the time.
Yeah.
and I just wonder what it was like. And you just literally showed up to tell me.
Right.
Yeah,
within 6
totally.
hours.
No, it was
Thanks,
horrible.
universe. I would have made another specific wish had I known that was the hour you were taking them. But
feel
now
like
I know.
You just made like a real life algorithm happen.
Because I was thinking about it, because on Twitter there's all these like memes they're suddenly in this weird communal way now, and they were like, oh, name 2 graduates from your high school. I was like, easy. Like I didn't put like Hillary Swank and like other people like who went to my high school, but I was like, it's so funny you say Balky and not Larry, but, whatever, Balky and Urkel, and like all the old people understood. Of course, like kids were like, who are these people? Like, what's a Balky? And I was like, forget it. Like
that's why we don't talk to the youth.
Yeah, it's bad. I hate that.
One of many reasons.
Exactly.
Okay, tell us your dream.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so this is also a recurring dream, but very different from Mana's. I feel shallow now because my dream is a little shallow. But okay, so there's a few things you have to understand. First of all, I was like a hip hop journalist. I'm very excited about Jean Grae here. So I have been obsessed with Kanye West since College Dropout. That's a long time ago. Like, what is it? Like a while, like a couple decades almost. Oof. And so I know it's weird to say I'm a Kanye fan today. It's really bad because like he's now like all like Trump and MAGA and all that stuff. But like, I don't know, even this Jesus is King album, it's honestly like kind of good. So anyways, I don't want to get into that. But like I've had a reoccurring dream that I was Kanye West's wife for years and years. And the most amazing part of this dream is it was pre-Kim, when he wasn't really attached to any. I guess maybe he was attached to like Amber Rose or whatever, but like no one was like a constant. He was certainly not married. And what's also weird that you should know is like Kim Kardashian is Armenian, which she doesn't really like to talk about, or she does like on the like about the genocide, but she's not like a person of color really, or she doesn't own that sort of. But like Iranians are very close to Armenians actually. So that's also interesting that I had this dream way before Kanye was paired up with a woman of my sort of ethnic background, right?
Neck
like
of the woods.
kind of, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like funny because like my friends used to call me like nerd Kardashian because like I would have never, but like I would be like the embarrassing cousin, like who they were like, oh, she's like kind of skinny and clumsy and like not cool, but like. So, like, in a weird way, I feel like when people are mean about Kardashians, I always defend them. And, like, I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, they're whatever. But anyways, in this dream, again, like, honestly, I've had this dream, like, 10 times. And you can, like, search in Twitter and see me in, like, 2013 talking about this dream. It's really true. So, in this dream, once again, I'm Kanye West's wife. And the dream is actually kind of charmingly updated because, like, we live in a very, like, marble house, right? Like, kind of like a Kardashian West aesthetic, right? And so in this dream, like, I'm, like, with him again. It's, like, very normal. Even the dream feels familiar to me. I'm like, oh, I'm with my husband. Because I never dream about being paired up with anyone. Like, this is it. And it's never a sex dream, by the way. It's always, like, mundane shit. Like, we're just, like, like, around the house, like, doing boring things. So this is, like, a family dinner, and there's, like, all these people. But at this point, I don't see anyone but Kanye, which I also think is very realistic, right? Because, of course, you're like, Kanye is the love of my life, right? And I'm actually wearing better clothes than this. I'm like definitely like Kardashian adjacent in my aesthetic. And so I'm with Kanye and I'm like, I have an announcement. And then this is the weird part. It's actually like a real life element. So in my dream, I'm announcing my next book, which is literally my next book, which is going to be called Brown Album, which is like, like a little bit of reference to Diddy and White Album, whatever. Anyways, I'm like all excited because I'm telling Kanye about it because he kind of doesn't know, which also is kind of realistic, right? Like Kanye wouldn't really know like what I was up to. So I'm like, I'm so happy to tell everyone about my next book. I'm trudged. I'm a writer in this dream. I'm usually not. But anyways, I'm like, so this is my book. And he's like, oh, my next album is going to be called Brown Album. And I'm like, we didn't. No, it's not. Like, we didn't talk about this. And he's like, no, my next album, Brown Album, is coming out. And this is the most harrowing part. They're like, it's going to debut at the White House.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. This is like the moment where I'm suddenly like really reckoning with the fact that my husband is like really into Trump, right? And he's like, yeah, we're going to debut it. And these are songs of worship about Donald Trump. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? And in the dream, I even remember being like, I'm Iranian, but I want to be like, dude, you're black. Like, what is happening? Like, this is not normal. Like like suddenly there's so much reality in the stream. And then the weirdest part, I don't know what to make. This is like the weird part. Like I don't get it. Like Courtney Stodden was there. Do you guys even know who that is? Fans of Courtney Stodden. If you don't know, I don't even know how to explain. She's like. Was she in a reality show? I don't even know. I just watch her. I'm like a lurker on Instagram of like weird, hot, like D-listers.
She married the dude that played the liver fluke monster on the X-Files.
Yeah,
I think that's her claim to fame.
Right. Yes, and he was like 30 years older than her or something,
yeah.
right?
And the thing is, she was 16.
Yeah.
But she was a real mature-looking 16. And I don't mean that she had boobs. I meant that, like...
She had wrinkles?
Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe she got some severe tans in her early teens and then got paler right after.
She didn't take care of her skin when she was 8.
I'm just saying I was suspicious when I saw her and I was like, 16.
Right.
Wow. So in a way, I was kind of hoping that she was like 24, so it's okay to be with a dude who is the liver fluke monster on the X-Files.
But I don't think they're together anymore. I mean, I know a lot. I love her Instagram because the weird thing is she's actually has an okay voice. Maybe her fan knows that. Like she's actually like a good singer, weirdly. But she's weird. She's all like Marilyn-y, like in a lot of plastic surgery. Anyways, I'm like fascinated by her somehow, and she's like somehow Kanye's friend. I don't fucking know.
Probably
a Trump supporter. I don't even know.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, we're in this huge house, and like this all goes down, and I'm like, whoa, like what am I gonna do about my book? And like also that's so weird. But then someone told me weirdly. I told this dream to a friend of mine a week after it happened. They were like, oh, that's so weird because Zadie Smith and her husband have books with the same title. Like, feel free. They both did that, and I was like, but this. Is Kanye and I. It's not like Zadie and declared, but like it's just weird. Like how weird would that be? So, but like I obviously had to this happened. Like what am I thinking after the dream? Like I'm like obviously I have to not publish my book.
Right. Or you have to publish it way before his album comes out,
but
and then ride the wave of his album.
Right.
I don't know.
It's so awkward if this happened, right? I mean, it gave me so much anxiety, this dream. Like, I was just like, fuck. And I was right around the time Jesus King is out, and I was already embroiled in Twitter controversy because I was like, I like the album. And I was, like, canceled for that, obviously, because I was like, but it's, like, good. I don't know.
I don't really think that an album of Trump worship songs is not a thing that's gonna. Yeah, I think that's entirely plausible.
It's so weird. Like it's just weird that's. I didn't see it coming. Like he's capable of anything, but that was weird to me.
Oh yeah, I don't know. And sometimes because I had a job for about a year where I was writing the Celebrity Dirt segment of the Jenny McCarthy radio show, which was a super fun job. But I had, there was a lot of Kardashian content. And I kept wondering if maybe they were just keeping them a little bit crazy for the ratings.
Yes, everyone thought that. Yeah, like they were like Kanye Kardashian, you know, that took him down. Of course, I had to defend them. Like, no, the Kardashians are fine. You know? Right. But like, it's weird because then they said he had a mental breakdown. That was just why he liked Trump. But then he stopped having it, and he was still like, yay that, and like plus Christianity, like in a huge way. Right. So it's a lot for people. I get it.
I do not pretend to know what is going through the man's head.
I don't either. But I told you, I'm going to like tweet this at him. And every Kardashian, like you're going to see, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm going to be like all over like tweeting this image at him and talking about it nonstop because all I want is recognition.
You are going to make Twitter great again.
Yeah, I'm going to do it because I'm shameless. I love him.
Do you want to see your art? Okay. All right.
Wow. This could really go wrong, right?
It usually does.
It's risky.
Let's see what's...
Whoa.
So, he is telling you, sorry, baby, you can't copyright a title, which is true.
Yes.
You can't.
You can't.
You cannot copyright a title.
Oh, I love this because, like, Amanda, I think I look so good in this. You really are, like, very flattering about women. I love this. And this is how... This is how it would go down. I love that.
I'm not sure he would call you baby, but I'm like, what would Kanye West's term of endearment be? I feel like he probably has really weird ones, like poo boo.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
But I think baby for me is right.
Lover. Yeah.
I love
that's
that.
where him and Taylor Swift cross back over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Is that What is that shirt? Is that MAGA?
Yes, that's a MAGA sweatshirt.
Fuck, that's so dark.
Yeah.
I thought it said dad, and he's a father of 4, so I was like, well, that's good, because at least Kanye is
You
like,
went there. You
I
just
did-
went
I
for
positive
it.
too.
Well, what else are you going
I'm
to do?
going to have to tweet it at Donald Trump, too.
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go all out.
Let's watch this happen.
I know.
All right.
Thank you
Here's
so
your-
much.
thank you so
Oh my
much.
God, this is amazing.
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you.
All right, you guys, we are going to take a brief intermission. Please avail yourself of beverages at the bar. Also, there is a box of cookies on the bar, and I would like you to eat them, please.
They're delicious.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody had, there's a cumin shortbread in there, which I did not make, but it's delicious. And it's like those, it shouldn't work, but it really does. It's I don't know, it's a real slutty taste profile. And I'm pretty into it.
Slut shaming our cookies.
No,
All right.
I say that with a lot of respect.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's the sluttiest cookie.
Slut respecting
Who
our
wouldn't want to be a
cookies.
slutty cookie? I'm gonna stop talking.
I don't know why I'm defending sluts so hard, not qualifying under all kinds of rules.
You don't have to identify with somebody to take up their cause.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair. That's right. You know
If-
what? That's
yeah.
my sisters.
If we've learned nothing tonight,
Power to the sluts.
well,
Do your jobs out there.
Animal facts.
Actually, I feel like it's not jobs. Like a slut dabbles. A whore is a professional.
I think slut is an avocation.
Yeah, it's an hourly
Exactly.
rate. It's a lawyer position versus a paralegal. That's a slut.
I feel like this metaphor ran off the rails. But
I feel like it's my best work. That's really unfortunate. All right.
okay.
Let's see a person.
Let's see a person. You guys want to see a person? Our next guest is a person. She is there's basically nothing she can't do because she's Jean Grae, a rapper, artist, everything. I'm sorry, I forgot all the words. She can just come up and save me from myself.
She speaks for herself better than I could.
Woo! Yeah, no, that was terrible. I was all backwards.
No, I was fine with
Yeah.
that.
Hi.
Hi, I arranged my boobs over there
Thank
a little
you.
bit earlier.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
No, it's okay.
Are they alphabetical?
Yeah, it's numerical. It's all numerology.
Mine are A and
boobs.
B, so it's fine.
separated by genre, then alphabetical within genre, and then chronological
Yeah,
within
yeah.
artist.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes they're just Kanye albums.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up Kanye again,
Yeah.
but I made a short list.
Okay.
Because I've been over there for a while. So.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So first, I wanted to talk about. You brought up Jack Nicholson when referring to the name of the cat, and I thought that is a really good name, and it's the name that you should go with because immediately when you walked in, they were playing music that I gravitate to and that we play in the house a lot, which definitely I qualify it as like really good music to kill people to,
Right.
like ironically.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is I have a playlist of like my Spotify playlist is called like serial killers. And it's all like 1920s and 30s jazz,
Yeah.
but it makes me really happy.
I
But
mean, it was definitely from The Shining. Too.
yeah,
So
it was exactly. And
yeah.
you walked in, and you were like, "Oh, it's music from The Shining," and I was
Yeah.
like, "You got to watch for the signs."
Yeah.
So there, go for it. The ripping out of hair that pets do.
Yeah.
So our cat, you've met Littles
Yes.
before. He is a beautiful, beautiful Turkish Angora. He is the closest I think myself and my husband are going to have to deal with white privilege just like in our house every day because he's a long-haired white cat. And we didn't know he was going to be that because he came to us from the streets, and there's no way that he should have existed out there as long as he should have.
What was he doing out there?
We don't know. He definitely...
Did he fall off a truck?
Well, here's the thing, because people are like, Littles is beautiful, and he's so majestic and regal, and then once you're with him for like more than 5 minutes, you're like, oh, he's a clumsy fucking bastard. He's very terrible at doing things. He's really bad at like catting or at like walking on anything small. but he's still somehow very entitled.
Right.
Yeah. But he also has like a lot of nervous tics and behaviors. And we noticed that when he had his hair long, we give him a lion cut. Well, we take him to get a lion cut, and it is very expensive.
Yes.
Little's grooming is. I did not know. My husband found a great place for him to go, and then I went to the place, and I was like, "This is very fancy." And then it came time for the bill, and it was $160.
Holy shit.
And I was like, I don't remember the last time I spent that much money on myself. Yeah. What are we doing?
Do they give him like a little glass of champagne?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But he used to, and now he started again, and we think it's because we're doing like a lot of stuff in the house, like ripping out his hair.
Wow.
And eating it.
Oh.
And so we try to be like, hey, it's okay, everything's okay.
How's
and
your
like,
hairball situation?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really want to like bother with the comedy show. Emily, if you want to rip out your hair a little bit, it's okay.
I've been doing that subtly this entire show. I mean, yeah.
But you still look good.
Thank you. I have a lot of hair.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
I would really go OCD with the tweezers on the leg hair during a movie. Not that I've ever done that.
Right.
That's a nice, quiet way to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like a light self-applied electrolysis.
But that takes
Just
away
the old-fashioned way.
The only problem with that is, like, you know, if you're pulling out your hair, it's because you want somebody to notice the bald spot. You know? I don't.
No.
Wait,
People can't help.
I think they would really
as though,
notice.
as that left my mouth, I'm like, don't say that. Yeah.
Same thing about people can't help.
You're right.
We're twinsies.
Yeah.
Good.
That's why you guys
No, people
do
can
this.
help. Go to therapists. People. Go to 5 of them.
Ripping out your...
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Are you?
Well, I'm juggling them. Also that.
How's it going?
Good. You know what? It's good. I gotta say, they meet the hype. You guys really, everybody I fucking knew in comedy for like 10 years was like, oh yeah, you gotta go to like a bunch of therapists. This is New York City.
Do they talk amongst themselves or like?
I don't know if there's like a therapist net, like they got a Facebook group just like the comedians, and they're like, these bitches.
Yeah, they're on a group text.
They have a group text, most
Oh,
definitely.
for real. Yeah.
There's a lot of emojis.
Yeah. They betray you regularly.
Oh, I bet. Or they fell asleep during your thing. People have like descriptions of therapists where they're like, "Oh yeah, they fell asleep while I was there." I was like, "Oh shit." Do you get an automatic refund? Because I feel like you should also get paid money at that point.
That's got to be fucked up for your trauma, though.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, man, my trauma was boring as fuck. It's like, I don't see a therapist, but I feel like if that happened, that I would have to, like, really work on the next story because I'm very competitive.
Or it's a sign that you should go into ASMR videos. Because you have such
You know,
a
it comes
soothing
back to
voice.
buying floral foam and knifing it. That's what
Very
we want to do.
soothing.
I'm sorry. We got to go
sorry.
back to where you were. You have a whole list.
I only have a couple more. Kanye. Well, no, I guess that's like a 3-hour thing. But one, there was I just typed Kanye can suck my balls, and then under that is 2024. You've been warned. If you think he's not going to run for president, he's totally going to do it.
Is,
and if you think he won't get elected in this climate, he totally fucking will. And they're doing like a whole setup. It's like him doing the fucking.
You know what's weird though is I feel like Kim Kardashian as a first lady is a step up.
You are not wrong.
Now here's what makes it confusing. I'm not sure which one of them is going to run. Here's the deal. Like even if you are a super hard fucking racist, you still will fuck with Jesus over everything.
Right.
And even if you are a super hard fucking racist, you're still going to be like, I want to fuck her.
Right.
They're kind of unbeatable. Good luck to everyone in the next 4 years. Form your tribes.
I can't wait.
Learn how to make a shank. Just fucking work
There's
on your
YouTube
own shit.
videos for all of this.
And then I wrote down kidnapping Kanye's bear, which is something in my own past. After what was it? College Dropout. Yeah, and I was like, we had done a couple of shows together, and I was like, I fucking hate this dude. And I was on tour with the Roots at the time, and I called up Questlove, and I was like, "Yo, we should kidnap that bear. We should kidnap that mascot." He was like, "What?" And this is very kind of indicative of my life in the rap world, that everyone was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
You're just treating it like frat pranks. No, it's cool.
It was basically my life. I was like, you know, it'd be fucking funny if we kidnapped that goddamn bear.
It would have
and
been
we held
so
it for
funny,
fucking
though.
ransom, and like that would be my whole set during the Roots show. Just holding bear like, fucking come on, you bitch. And they were like, no. That was my whole time on that.
Wait, what's the ransom? Just like 12 sandwiches?
I think it was nothing. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted him to show up, and then I was just like, I don't know, let's just beat the shit out of the bear. Like, you can't get it back.
Sad now for what could have been.
Yeah, no, it could have been great. But people give a lot of allowances to dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
starting to
of-
pick up on that.
Right.
Yeah, it's because of the dicks and the.
We should be checking dick quality up front.
We should.
That is a good name for a show. Or on the side of a truck.
Oh, yeah. And there's going to be a real cocky truck driver driving
You
that
say
buddy.
cocky?
I stay on theme.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Man, none of this goes into my dream at all.
Yeah, let's get there.
Okay.
Let's
So, we are actually going to be. I call it. They call it a cruise, but I like to call it trapped on a boat. There's a cruise that I've been doing for the past. I think this is the 5th year. Called the Joko Cruise. It's a Jonathan Colton cruise, and it's kind of like a big conglomerate of a bunch of different kinds of nerds, like people who are really good at music, people who are really good at gaming, people who are really good at like whatever their fucking craft is. So you know how like you'll go on a cruise and it'll be like that one specific fucking thing.
Oh, all the time.
But this is like, you know, that one specific thing
Right.
when people are just good at going on cruises and dying and being old. It's not that.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's a great time every year. But there's more people of color and black people on the boat like every single year since I've been on there, and it's like it's amazing to like talk about these experiences as we go on the boat, and. I think last year was the first time I've ever spoken to anyone else, because we had an experience on the boat the first time. We were like, oh, I don't think anyone else is having this. And it was like dead of night, and you can see nothing else. It's just kind of the horizon, but just flat. And you go directly to like a transatlantic slave trade. Like you go to fucking Middle Passage, and it's crazy.
Right.
And you're like, no one else on the boat right now.
Right.
Or for the whole time is going to be like, but what about slaves?
Right.
And you can't bring it up at breakfast because that's fucking weird. And then I think that first trip, everyone, we do like a group show at the end and everyone sings songs, and they had chosen to do Toto Africa.
Oh dear.
But by all means, Africa's a great fucking song. It's a great fucking yacht rock song.
Right.
Like, we get it.
Yeah.
But I played it like they started the song, and they were like, why isn't Gene on stage? And I finally came out. I was like, are you fucking kidding? But I say that to say, there's a lot of things you do in like preparation for this boat, and I was like, oh, I'll call you and let you know.
Yeah.
But one thing that happens every year, every time I kind of go on vacation, and this is where too much information comes into play. My period is an asshole, and it somehow finds out whenever I have vacations. Right. Or anything else to do where it's like you have to wear a swimsuit or you get to be in water, and it's like, bitch, I want to go I'll just make it happen. It's not, I wasn't set up for the date, but here I am. So, for the past 2 months, I've been like, you fucking motherfucker. And it was so on point. Like, it was so great. And so it got to, I was like, I looked up, like, we have a vacation coming up in January where we're going to be there for a week. And then I was like, let's count the fucking days. And I was like, oh, and it got to the boat, and I was like, we're clear.
Right.
We're clear for fucking both. One, because I don't want to have my fucking period anytime where I'm on the boat. Or two, because, like, I want to, like, fuck on a boat.
Right.
And it's not the time.
Right. Yeah.
I love you so much.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not the time to lay down a towel, because people are gonna, like, I gotta, like, give you the towel.
You got a third party involved with the sheets.
Yeah, and
can't
like, it's a
go
cruise, and, like,
full
you're
ragu.
very close with housekeeping, and, like, they tell you their name the first day, and you'd have been like, and he's like...
That's like a hostage tactic. They're trying to soften you up.
No.
Please don't do anything terrible in this room that I have to clean up. You
For
know
the
my
love of
name.
God.
You
And
see
then-
me. I have children. I showed them pictures.
They do!
Yeah.
And they make animals out of all the towels, and I don't want to leave, like, a bloody monkey outside. And they're like, what the fuck was that? So I was all good, and then my period decided to be, like, a week late, thus setting off the shining of events that are now to go for the rest of the time. And I didn't have a nightmare. My brain could not search for a nightmare for the show. And then 2 nights ago, my brain was like, here you go. So I've had dreams, or kind of nightmares, I guess, just like really action-filled dreams, where I'm on a boat or a cruise of some sort, but it's kind of like a fantasy thing where I'm like battling monsters, but like it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, nobody knows what you're doing, like you're just on the boat, but also, and I guess that's my serial killer voice, be like, pew pew. Also killing.
It's
killing
very
monsters.
suave.
Thank
like,
you.
Yeah.
It is very small.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew. Because I got a laser gun. So this particular dream, which I didn't know would be a nightmare, was going really well. And I think, like, it involved, like, there were, like, time portals and, like, weird elevators and, like, different parts of the boat where, like, people would get in and it would run normally, but then I'd get on it and then, like, open a panel. I'd be like, bet you didn't know about this. And then it, like, Willy Wonka's and it goes down to the floor where I got to, like, kill all the evil things on the boat. And then I was having some sort of conversation. I was in a really good bikini. I was in the shape I'm not going to get in before I get to the boat, even though I promised myself that I am, but that's not going to happen. Thanks for the cookies.
I'm going to stay like this for the boat.
You
Everyone's
look
just going to This is a sweater dress. It's very forgiving.
My suit is 50 times too large. Thank you, 2020.
I'm just here to make these thin women feel better about themselves.
You shut up.
Nobody laughed at that. It's fine. I got the best seat in the house. I look out from this.
Everybody eat some more cookies.
You're
Nobody
all
will laugh at
beautiful.
my terribly dark jokes.
You're all beautiful, and whatever
Yeah.
whatever fucking shape you get into that thing is. However, it was that kind of fucking shape. And so I was talking to, like, some sort of suave gentleman who I think was also, like, another, like, fantasy murderer like me, and we were like, all right. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to get back to this killing. And he was like, you do that. And then I got up from, like, my lounge bed where we were talking, and I, like, you know, put on my sunglasses, and he was like, and he looked down on my lounge bed, and he was like, is that blood? And I was like, what? He was like, your bed, is that period blood? And I was like, oh no, that's cranberry juice. He's like, yeah, you weren't drinking any juice? And I was like, I was. I'm very secretive.
That's when you spilled the juice.
And that's when I spilled the juice. So basically, it became a nightmare for the rest of the time, because anytime I had to, like, fight a monster, I was like in the middle of a battle. they would kind of like look down on like my very cool outfit, and I was like, banish you to the gates of Hades and go back to the dimension from with you. And they were like, is that fucking period blood? It was horrible.
Oh.
And I think the deal is that my anxiety is like that this thing is just going to take over everything. Like, because my mind would have been free. I just would have been able to fucking think and be a person. And I think that's what, does anyone else in this room have a 21-day cycle? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's basically like 2 days out of the month where you get to be a normal person.
Mm.
And everything else just revolves around this thing. And you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
So I got so sad because I was like, oh, this took over like even you like battling demons and monsters and all these things. It'd be like, bitch, do you have your period right now? And I kind of wanted to be like, but that makes me like strong. Like I'm a woman who can be in them. And I'm like, yeah, but you're also like,
you can Annie DeFranco all you want. But like,
I haven't spoken to her or anything. I haven't been able to listen to her music since she did that shit on that plantation.
oh yeah,
She held
That's
it.
an easy ask.
Right.
No to plantations.
If you leave here with anything tonight,
If you're thinking about doing an event at a plantation, babe, don't do it. Yeah.
just don't.
Unless it's a tour talking for reals about slavery.
Right,
Which it turns
yeah.
out people will put an angry Yelp review that you mentioned slavery.
Really?
Yes.
That's where even white privilege, I'm clearly haven't seen the sun in 8,000 years. And I'm like, what? How did they manage to complain that they went to a plantation and heard about slavery?
I was very disturbed. I was having such a good time looking at all the columns and the porches and the open white spaces. I meant open wide spaces. And then they brought up slaves. It's why I can't watch Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, there's so many reasons not to watch Gone with the Wind, but that is definitely the number one reason.
Yeah, it's mostly that for me.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, we got back to slaves somehow.
Right.
But anyway, my period.
Right.
What was having your period like during slavery? What the fuck?
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I seriously do. And honestly, I do think the
Shit.
boat thing too. And I think about it on planes.
Right.
As they shrink the seats, I keep thinking,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
honestly, this is still really nice compared to how they would do it if the international slave trade had happened with planes.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's
Whoa,
a terrible thing.
Jesus Christ.
I think about
They would, like a human honeycomb. I mean, it's possibly coming again.
I think
who
about
knows?
it I think about it during every zombie apocalypse show. I'm like,
yeah.
where the fuck are these bitches? Everybody's
Yeah.
just fucking free bleeding.
Yeah.
Like you can, I see you're taking care of your eyebrows somehow.
Right.
But what the fuck? Motherfuckers is getting lineups.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
They gotta have
happening?
the episode where they loot a CVS to get somebody
What?
like a
Nobody.
Tweezer Man set.
Yeah. Like,
Nobody's taking care of that.
No.
None.
And even in the scenes where they have them like raiding a store, like nobody's going
No one
to,
gets
to the feminine
anything.
aisle.
And women have hairstyles that you can only maintain for
Get
12
the
hours
fuck
at a
out
time.
of here!
Listen.
You know how long it takes to make that messy ass ponytail,
Yeah.
you bitch? Fuck you.
I will say,
If I saw you wake up next to a flaming barrel, that's bullshit.
yeah, no,
Oh.
I am very vain about my hair.
Yeah.
If the zombie apocalypse hits, this is the first thing
Yeah.
to go.
You
Like,
go
my
full
head
into
will
No,
be
it's a wrap.
Shaved immediately.
Oh, I'm shaving everything.
Yeah.
The only thing I want is just a bunch of razors and like some open chaps so I can just free bleed everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, get that crazy bald bitch away from me.
Yeah.
We do
I
not
don't know.
fuck
I don't
with
want
it.
an itchy pubis in the apocalypse.
No.
It's a good
I
No.
mean, I'm just going to keep that sweater. You know what I mean? It's back up underpants.
That's you make a good point. It's the thing. It's nature's
That's
Sphinx.
beautiful. You say it's nature's Spanx?
Sphinx. The period
Sphinx.
phase.
Well, it depends,
Unintended-
like-
Does anyone
It depends on your
situation.
pattern. You might be wearing bike shorts. It might be a thong.
Oh,
Has
There's a lot of
and
areas.
also I've noticed that a lot of women's choices and that is like very tight cargo pants, and I'm like, that would not be an option. I've got baggy sweatpants on all the time, so you can't see anything.
Yeah. I have cargo sweatpants, by the way, and it's
I'm sorry?
Same.
Yes.
Same.
What's that like?
It's like living in a cocoon.
Yeah.
It's so great.
If you could put a sofa on your body.
Yes. Yeah.
And the cargo pants, like they're padded because they're winter style, right? You get like a men's double XL, and then you could go to a movie theater purse free and carry in more candy than God.
What is your shit with going to a movie theater and doing stuff?
I just like the cargo pockets potential. You could go anywhere. You could go to you could take it on the Joko cruise and not have to carry your food from the buffet.
I could.
Yeah.
You just foil line your pockets. This is totally normal.
I could
things
line
that
it
I'm saying.
with tampons or panty liners, so
does
I wouldn't
it
have the
get
problem of
chilly
leaking
at
on
night
everything.
because like they're very warm?
On a boat?
Yeah.
Does it get chilly? Yeah, no, it gets. Has anyone here ever been on a cruise?
I did.
You worked on a cruise. How many months were you on it? On and off for about 3-4 months. How was getting back to the regular Earth walking around? How were your sea legs? Because it's weird. It's weird as fuck. It is. Yeah. Okay, good answer.
What was, if you don't mind revealing, what was your preferred choice
of murders?
Yes. Right, international waters.
Who was easy?
So many opportunities.
Who was easiest to kill? Was it the children or the old people?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Tributaries, and it was basically a geriatric cruise, and it was like occasionally.
Did people die? It happens.
Not many of mine, but there were, and it was. But the interesting thing is they had like a group of men on there who they hired, a little bit younger, but still.
Oh, this is about to be very good. Shut the fuck up. I already know what's happening.
Who worked as like dance partners and hosts and things.
Oh, I thought you were
Host.
just going to end it at the H and the O. That was
Yeah.
good.
They were there to entertain the older ladies because it was predominantly older women who took this.
Can you hire us some Patrick Swayzes?
I was-
Sure.
Yes. So did they
Yeah.
were there a lot of men fucking these old ladies is what I'm trying to say?
I am not sure, but the gentleman who had this position had free room and board on the boat, and
Wow.
one was
Yeah.
an old guy named Frank who looked like like an old Italian don.
Oh, Frank was cleaning up.
He goes, if you die and you're not $100,000 to $200,000 in debt, you're doing it wrong.
Holy shit! That's my new life philosophy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My mind has been blown. Thanks, Frank.
I also feel
Much
so
appreciated.
much better about myself.
Now I'm like halfway to my goal.
Yeah.
I was about 23 years old. I sent a picture of Frank and I to my grandmother, and I said, "Dear Grandma, I finally found me one." He's Italian. Frank says I can keep working till I start having babies. As soon as I reached port, I called my mom. She goes, "Don't you ever do that to me again." I had to explain for an hour and 20 minutes to your grandmother that was your idea of humor.
Wow.
This summer on Netflix.
Yes.
Martin Scorsese. Mississippi Queen.
What she doesn't
Starring Joe Pesci as Frank.
I gotta say, I feel like the Joko cruise has already been ruined for me because there's no way it's gonna
Yeah.
be that great.
What you don't know is your grandma had also been dating Frank and was furious.
That asshole.
Big reveal.
Man.
Big Frank been cleaning up.
I don't even know. I hope this drawing somehow includes all of these things, but it's mostly just Frank hitting on older women.
I wish. I wish I could just mentally inscribe that into the thing that I made you, which I. Yeah, no, it's.
Did you just apologize for her?
Surprise guest. What's your name? Sarah. Surprise guest Sarah. Give Sarah a round of applause. That was amazing.
Thank you, Sarah.
Excellent. Also, if you still have Frank's number anywhere, just talk to me. Yeah. Oh.
All right,
That's
we
right.
have.
That's
Do we
enough.
have a Twitter account you can tweet that
Yeah,
to?
yeah.
I need to
Oh,
see
shit,
that.
we
I've
should
learned
probably
a
get a
lot
Twitter
from
account.
Catfish. You just take that right into the Google search. You
Yeah?
just drop his picture right in, and you can get his information.
Oh.
You're welcome.
At 22 years old, this man became a life legend and something to like Khakpour.
Yeah.
You know, he made a profound effect on me.
How old was he then?
I guess he had to be in his early 70s.
Oh, God damn it. Did Frank have a son? Or daughter?
Oh, I'm sure he had several sons and daughters
That
right?
he knew
Yeah,
about.
Right.
That he kept in contact.
Couple of
That
spares.
he acknowledged.
Little Franks are out there.
Yeah.
He was a charmer.
All Frank's grandkids right now are linking up on Ancestry.com. They're like, oh, we all took a 23andMe. And it turns
just
out
says
you have a grandpa
90%
Frank, too.
Frank. 10% that bitch.
Oh man, I would love that so much. All right, listen. I want to show you your art, but also
Oh.
I feel like Kembra walked out the door a second ago, so maybe we should just keep talking till she comes
Okay.
back.
We can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's
Probably
just let,
gave up and tried to pee because finally we wouldn't shut up. And
Right.
I'm so sorry.
No, I don't
I'm
know.
always
Let's
talking.
just let's
Sorry
let this
about
get
that.
weird. There's nothing happening afterwards,
you're
you
perfect.
guys.
I
So
know.
we're just gonna keep you here until we're all dead. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's pretty good. I feel like this place is this particular room. I think the first time I was in here, I was like, "This is what I would want." Like, if I was single and in my 20s, I'd be like, "This is enough.
Right.
This is the room I'd want to live in.
Yeah.
This is all I need.
Oh,
Keep it
100%.
exactly fucking like this.
Yeah.
I'll
I
just
would
sleep
sleep
on
in
the
the tub.
stage. I was gonna say I'd
Yeah.
sleep on the stage.
Uh-huh.
This is good.
Mhm.
And then I would probably have to murder someone in here.
No, this is for sure the classiest place to murder.
I
Yeah.
like that you have a serial killer through line
I
from
really
your
do.
playlists
Just
to
my
your
general
references.
life.
It's
You know
perfect.
why? Because there's not enough women serial killers, and there's not enough black women serial killers. There's just not. And I think it's actually such a fantastic job because we get to be so invisible that you can blame it on so many other people because no one is ever going to think it's you.
Right.
And we also change our hair so much so that there's anything left behind at the crime scene. You're like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
If there's anything left.
If there's
Right.
anything left, if they find
Oh,
anything.
the corpse. For a second, I was like,
Yeah.
the corpse would be so destroyed, there would just be nothing left.
Yeah, and they find some
Um,
hair, and it's like, just, I don't know how good this joke is going to go over with this, a bag of Kanekalon. Maybe one person in here will laugh at that. Thank you and thank you. You're like, you don't know who the fuck that is.
Right.
Or it's some woman in Indonesia or
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Right.
And, yeah.
All right.
So, if you have any women of color, black women friends, and they're struggling with what to do in their lives, I just want to ask you to help the world. Let's push things forward. Let's get us into more places where we can be. Please at least suggest, because we don't get this in our lives, that you too could be a serial killer, a freelance assassin. Even think about that. Being invisible in the world, that's the job to really have.
I think I see a foundation coming.
Thank you. I did. This is where I really wanted the church to go
Right.
that I was running.
Yeah.
To be like, do what you want to do, but especially black women, start killing more.
Right.
Yeah.
Want to see your drawing now?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
Boy.
All right. So, listen. Okay.
Oh, I forgot
Yes.
to mention that at some point in the dream, I was wearing a Marie Antoinette wig.
Yes. So that being like the salient visual of that dream, and yeah, I got a real crime fighter vibe happening. So the caption here is, look, if you want all these crimes fought, you're gonna have to let me bleed where I want. So I feel like you're taking it back. And also, of course, an all-white superhero outfit.
This is amazing.
I
would really like to say this is a great weapon of choice, and
Right.
this is like time traveling Storm.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel strongly that if you were to murder somebody, you would do it with a mace.
I would.
Oh,
Yes.
That
is an awesome
I have
choice.
a list. Thank you so much.
of course.
How did you know
weapons.
that?
Anytime. I'm really looking forward to the boat. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
All right, how we doing, you guys? Everybody still good? We're still good. Yeah. It's the holidays. It's a very happy time.
You have lately really been nailing shoes.
Oh,
and I
thank you.
noticed.
Yeah.
I just want you.
I'm
I
doing
want
it
you
for
to know.
you.
I got my eye
Yeah.
on all the sweet feats in the cartoon.
Sweet feet. Thanks. Oh, you mean drawing, or you just like my shoe?
No. Also, your shoes are nice, but I meant in the drawings, like everybody's boots, and like I've been like in each case want to like click on it to see like, well, how much is that?
Well, thank you again.
I can't afford it, but click.
All right, you guys, our last guest she's a performance artist, a visual artist. She's the front woman of Voluptuous Horror of Karen Black. She is cooler than anyone here. Please welcome to the stage, Kembra Pfahler. Hi, how's it going?
Fine,
Yeah.
thanks. Is it on?
Is it? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a moment, 10 minutes ago, where I really was unsure as to whether or not my mic was on. So I fiddled around with it for a while. Oh, no, that's not a good story.
Let me follow it with my not good story. No, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I just been hearing my hands a lot and feeling real sweaty.
Right.
So we all have mic problems tonight. So we've set the bar real low, Kembra. Take it from there.
This bar is set so high because everyone's been so funny, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm not funny at all. I don't have anything funny to say, and I'm so embarrassed that I don't have anything. I'm not funny ever in my entire life. I've never been funny, and I've tried to be.
Right.
Which is also terribly unfunny when you try to be funny.
It comes back around, like it goes through not funny, and then it punches through a wall into hilarity. I think I'm picturing a very elaborate sort of mathematical arc.
I feel like almost everybody I know who's funny. You're funny because you get really mad or you get really serious and you say something you mean, and everyone's like, "No way."
But I never,
so don't worry.
I don't
feel
really
like
laugh
you're-
a lot. I
you're
don't have
possibly
a lot
funny,
of
very
laughter in my life, and I met Emily through my brother Adam, and my brother makes me laugh a lot. My family members really make me laugh a lot, and I don't see them very often. But it's nice to laugh during such harsh times.
Yeah.
I mean, to have hilarity during such harsh times is important. I wanted to tell the friends in the audience that I had a pen pal relationship with a serial killer once with
Really?
Eileen Warren.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa!
And
We're going to be here for a while, you guys.
I just went full Bill and Ted. That's a
That's
a
it was
four-alarm
before
fire.
the monster film came out, and I think she started writing me because I was in Celebrity Sleuth, this kind of like weird. A couple of band people by accident made it into these celebrity nudie magazines, and I accidentally got in there, and had a strange connection with Eileen, who was in Florida on death row, and she ended up sending me a picture of what she saw out her window, and and that's not very funny at all either, but it was a picture of 2 palm trees that she saw out her window that she looked at every day. I'll show you the picture if you want. But
Was it a drawing, or did she manage to get like a little snap camera?
it was a snap, and it looked like a snap of that she didn't take herself, just that she had maybe found or something.
How long did you correspond with her?
Just a couple of letters. The 2 were enough. 1 or 2 were enough. I was really amazed that she wrote me.
So,
She was really into music, right?
I guess I'm exaggerating that story a little bit. I think I'm exaggerating it and making it sound like it. So it wasn't really a pen pal relationship, but I did get a letter from her. So, and I agree with what the last artist was talking about serial killers and invisibility and race. And I think about that a lot, being a lady who's getting to be 60 and getting to like, oh, it's so awesome being 60. You get to be so invisible. I've actually thought, like, why don't I go into crime now?
Right.
And my mother always does that. My mother's 70 and she's like, people aren't gonna fucking stop me from stealing.
Right.
she goes into department stores and just takes what she wants.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm so old, people won't even talk to me now, and she's just a wild hoodlum now, and keeps saying, like, Mom, you really need to calm down, but since I'm getting up there and matching her age now, I can identify with that feeling of, oh, with this cloak of invisibility, what can I do now?
Well, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to the crimes I'm going to commit when I am, like 20 years from now. I'm just petty crimes all the way.
You're joining her gang. See, that's what I think. Your mom
I
doesn't need
also
to
have
calm
a
down.
hard
She needs
time-
like 4 cohorts. Form like an old lady gang and start just muscling their way through every Marshalls in the city.
Yeah. Right.
You know that's what they do, right?
I mean-
They bring you a sweater they stole on sale. That's what old ladies will do.
And there's Christmas. Yeah.
That sounds wild.
It's true. That's a really positive thing to suggest to my mother, though, because I feel like she had to give up her business when she got older. She was kind of aged out of her having a little clothing store in California, and she lost her business after she'd had it for 35 years, and so she's bored where she's living now, and always want to suggest gang activity or some sort of, or like starting a band also.
Yeah.
Or also, I also thought what would be the most annoying thing to do for a grandmother or like a menopausal lady, and that would be to start dropping in and skateboarding pools. You know how everybody gets so muscular about and territorial.
Yes.
Start dropping in there. I think I was trying to make a joke right there.
Oh, no.
I'm so old. I was like, oh, they're really gonna
Listen,
break a hip.
No, hey,
Like I started thinking about myself. Like I'd love to do that, but my ankles are gonna go. But that does sound fucking unbelievable.
yeah,
That sounds amazing.
It might have started as a joke, but it ended as a fantastic life suggestion.
like a dream, a dream to achieve. America, the great American dream is dead. Old ladies dropping in on pools.
Yeah, I
doing
want to be
some
a
alley,
thief
you know.
and a nuisance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
That was also incredible to hear. I hadn't thought of just also what you all were talking about Kanye West maybe becoming president. That is just really shocking to me, and also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This trajectory that's happening right now, this absurd trajectory of behaviorisms. That is so, that's like a living nightmare.
Nothing feels implausible at this point.
Yeah, it's anybody's game kind of feel.
Yeah.
Reality does right now.
Which I feel like should give me some hope. Like anything could happen. It was like, no, anything.
How often does that
anything
roll?
could happen.
Positive.
Not-
Let's check a magic 8-ball and see what our odds are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I keep like in that sad little way, hoping like maybe people will get a hankering for somebody who can read. But I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's no reason to put money against Gene on that one.
I was also really interested to see like what your like dream life was like, because I follow you on Instagram and I see your apartment, and it's this very satisfying shade of like brick red, but everything is red, and I'm wondering what is it like to sleep in an all red room?
Well, actually, I don't sleep very much, maybe an hour at a time, and I do a lot of writing when I wake up, so I'll sleep, and then I'll write, and sleep some more, and then I'll write a little bit, so there's not that much sleep like deep REM dream sleep that happens these days. I don't know if that's like I'm maybe a generation older than you, but I don't know if you sleep that much when you're 60. Or maybe it's just me.
No, I think you're right. I think that's an old lady superpower I've been looking forward to.
Right.
Apparently, like, you start killing it. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm from 2 a.m. to, like, 6 a.m. I'll have a little jolt, and then 2 naps later in the day, because fuck it, it's my schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sleep is really different, and it's really different than it was in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and I write a lot of things down. I get a lot of ideas and stuff in that space, because I live in my art studio pretty much. It's not a domestic space at all. I don't have dinner, or I don't have a towel or a fork or anything. It's just an art studio.
Right.
So it's really conducive to I guess being in like a living dream, sort of. I'm always in sort of that sort of state, maybe.
Right. Well, I feel like so much of your work sort of is imagery that people would read as horror, but also really, I think it also very funny.
Yeah, some horror is funny to me. I mean, I always liked The Exorcist was a comedy, Jaws was a comedy. Things that were not intentionally funny always struck me as very funny. Things that were played it straight were funny to me. And it's not horrific in the sense of it being like a slasher movie or anything violent, but there are some, I guess, oddities there, things that might not be in a regular apartment, you know, sculptures or objects or bowling balls and too many cats. I have a lot of cats. I have 3 cats.
Are the cats color coordinated?
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're unwanted cats. They're black cats with 6 toes. They all have 6 toes. Aww. They're polydactyls. And they didn't want to the people were afraid to adopt them, and because they thought they were going to be sacrificed, because they always do strange things with animals, like that have oddities about them, and they're black cats, and there's that weird tradition of I don't know a lot about Satanism. A lot of people always think that I do because I have dyed black hair.
Yeah, I went through that in college. Same thing.
Right.
People were like, "What's up, Elvira?" I'm like, "This is not."
Yeah, I'm not interested in witchcraft or the occult or anything.
Just like cats.
I
do appreciate that we've brought it back to animal facts, though.
Well, I just think, like, way better than a sacrifice is saying, I got 3 polydactyls. That just sounds way goth. And super cool. It would be foolish for the Satanists to do that. I don't think that's their real bag. They're just mostly putting up weird statues of Baphomet hanging out with kids outside of courthouses to drive people bananas. And I gotta say, I love it.
They're too capitalistic. They're too materialistic. Satanists, the ones that I've met. I had a bass player that was a Satanist once. That didn't work out very well. He kept talking about winning, and I was like, winning what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
I feel like there's a real, like, Ayn Rand energy.
Yeah, Ayn
to
Rand,
Satanists.
exactly.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like bassists are getting off scot-free in this conversation.
Don't they always? But let's talk about your dream.
Okay. I told you a dream that the most nightmarish dream that I've ever had was a reoccurring dream. I had it for a decade almost, and it was a dream that I had in this house where my brother Adam and I grew up in a place called Hermosa Beach, California, and it was this very idyllic beach town, not surprisingly, where the Virginia McMartin School was closed down. That's that preschool that was closed down for Satanism and child pornography and scandal. That was a falsehood, actually. That really never happened, but the media had this little beach town that I grew up in was kind of famous for having that happen. That's just a sideline. I always think that makes me so interesting or something. That's like one of the only things that I have that's interesting about my childhood. But so it was this very idyllic house that my brother Adam and I grew up in on 29th Street in Hermosa Beach, California. And it's odd, but I remember the layout of that house so explicitly. And my nightmare was always taking place in this house, and it was always about walking through the hallway to reach one of the bedrooms. And for some reason, my nightmare had a soundtrack that used to play before the visual part of it began. So I always knew I was entering a nightmare because I heard the soundtrack before.
Ooh.
And so the music would come on, and I'd think to myself, oh, the nightmare's going to start now. And so I had this dream over and over and over again. And it was me walking down the hallway, the sound would start, and I'd walk into a room, and it was my brother's room that was decorated with a Dr. Seuss theme. It was lime green and red and orange, and for some reason, when I opened the door very slowly, you know, it had a lot of sound effects, like the door would creak open as I opened it, and when I looked inside, all of the furniture and the bed and all of the things that were like the bassinet and the tables, everything was upside down in the room and hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
And for some reason that terrified me so much, and it was kind of always swaying. And I think I really took this exercise literally. Like, that really was the only nightmare that I ever had in my life that I can remember. So that's why I told you that, because it's the only one I really can remember, and it just would send shivers down my spine when I would have it, and I can remember having it over and over and over and over again.
It's weird how very small things being wrong in a dream can be utterly terrifying. Like.
But that's so much, like, everything, like, all the furniture being on the ceiling and being wobbly, you were saying? Like, that's, like, the ultimate insecurity. Like, it feels like absolutely insecure, even just to look at that, much less think about, like, okay, how do you rest in this room? Like, are you going to be constantly trying to get your butt in the air?
And did he actually have a lime green Dr. Seuss themed room, or is this just...
he did. He did. And I told my brother about this dream. I told him when we were talking on the phone yesterday, and he was joking with me, and he said, and you know that really happened, right? Like, he was trying to play it off like it really happened, and I don't know, he faked me out so much, but he terrified me. Right. I was like, really? It really happened to that?
Oh, God.
So yeah, that was my dream, and it happened at a time in my childhood when my childhood was literally being turned upside down. You know, we were about to move, and a lot of bad stuff was happening, so it was a strong metaphor for what was happening, a strong visual metaphor.
Right. How far apart in age were you guys?
6 years.
Oh, who's older? Oh, he was older?
No, I'm the old sister. I'm the older sister. I just... People that dye their hair black look always the same or something. So...
Yeah, the oldest sister.
Right.
She's absolutely right.
Right.
Nailed it.
All right. Would you like to see the drawing?
Yes, I really would.
You've gone through the hazing. Now's the time.
All right. So, listen, I am guessing that you were not in uniform in this dream, but I just very much wanted to draw that. So the caption is, oh, well, at least the cross looks right.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That is the most incredible drawing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know. And there's a couple little cat in the hats on there because I was like, I don't know.
I'm a lady. I'm already like a grown-up lady in that one.
Yeah.
I have a little...
Listen, I just wanted an excuse to draw you in the full shebang, but that's what this whole entire series has been leading up to. Also, my kid came in when I was drawing this, and looked at what I was drawing, and all she said was, well, why is stuff upside down? I'm like, you're not going to say anything about the naked lady in the thigh-high boots. I am clearly raising you
Whatever.
right.
Kids love this kind of outfit. No
Absolutely.
clothes and shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
this
their
is
fave.
basically her Thursday. Okay, Kembra, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys, that is our show. Thank you, Kembra. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Porochista. Thank you, Amanda. Thank all of you for coming. Hang out, have some drinks. If there's any cookie crumbs left, eat them. All right, thank you. Good night.
Nightmares is held monthly at the Red Room at KGB Bar in New York City. I'm Emily Flake. Tonight's co-host was Kat Burdick. Live sounds recording and edited by Shannon Manning for Good Orbit.